What's good, y'all? Welcome to Randomville, California. We come to you another week coming up, finishing up in the books. Another week of COVID-19 quarantine. Another week of crazy stuff going on in the U.S. But we coming to you. We're trying to keep this going. So hey, how you guys doing? We got Moses. We got Will, Uncle Will, and we got my bro Nate on the phone. So hey, how you guys doing?
Doing
What
pretty
up,
good,
Mason?
man. Hanging in there.
Doing well.
Yeah, just another crazy week in this country. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yes, sir.
and it keeps getting crazier. It keeps getting crazier. I'm sorry, I'm trying to shush somebody over here talking to me. Trying to talk to me. It's almost like the late 50s I think between 57 and 67. We're back there again. We shouldn't be, because then should have took care of what we're seeing now. If it was real, if it would have been done the right way then, we wouldn't have what we're having now. There's no way. I honestly believe that.
Yeah.
And I'm a product of the early 60s. I was born in the early 60s. And while all this stuff was going on as a kid, when I was like, Ozias and oh my God, Mason, Roman, that age, this is the same kind of stuff that was going on then, and it's still happening. It's almost like we've regressed instead of progress.
Yeah. The only difference now, though, I feel like there is a ton more awareness, right now because of social media and these videos and all that. Now, like, I feel like there is a movement, like a different type of movement, it's going on. It's more thorough now. Like, I mean, despite the riots and all that, but for the most part, like, it's heavy. Like, it feels good in the sense of, like, it's gonna change. There's gonna be some change.
I definitely feel like kind of what Mo was saying. There's like there's more of awareness, but I also think as tough it is to realize that we're still going through the same thing, there is more education behind it, right? There's a lot more people that are able to take a stand to speak, more on a more educated level about what's going on. Whereas back in the 50s and 60s, it wasn't even proposed to even get the same education as because you were a minority. So the fact that as minorities we're able to know our rights, know the laws, and fight for them in the correct way, I think that speaks volumes to this. And I mean this by incremental, the small progress that we've made. We definitely have still a long way to go, even though we're almost 50 years 70 years removed from where it all started. We've only made baby steps, and I think now is the time where as a country we're gonna have to come together and make those big leaps.
Yep. 100% agree. 100%. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of work that's got to be done.
Speaking of a lot of work, we'll just roll right into it. Speaking of a lot of work, so one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL kind of was asked his opinion on things that happened in the past, what the current kind of situation is, and what he sees is going to happen. Drew Brees had an initial response to the topic of kneeling during the national anthem. And it did not go well for the man. It did not come even close to going well for Drew Brees. Now, Drew Brees, started in San Diego Chargers, moved to New Orleans Saints, won a Super Bowl, big numbers, future Hall of Famer for sure. Probably one of the most beloved men in New Orleans, right?
Until yesterday.
Until until he had to go
Stop.
and give his opinion. Now everyone's entitled to that. Everyone's entitled to it, but it was kind of mistimed on what he had to say. I honestly believe so. But what's your guys' take on what Drew Brees initially said?
I give it to Nate first. Go for it, bro.
Yeah, he missed the mark completely. I think, and that's an understatement. I really think that when it comes down to it, he showed a lack of empathy, especially considering the fact that he plays in New Orleans. He was there during Hurricane Katrina, and he's put himself as part of that community. Now, I will say this much: he came out and apologized, but you got to put your money where your mouth. Put your money where your mouth is, right? And you got to show us, not just tell us, but show us and prove to us that you are deeply sorry. I get what he said, but it had nothing to do with what's going on, nor did it have anything to do with the subject matter. So when I look at it, I say, look, you're a beloved person, you're a great player, but as a human being, you got some work to do. You got some work to do, especially when it comes to this country, where you play and your teammates.
I had to mute this. I don't want to hit the garage.
I think when it comes down to it, it's like
mute the phone.
Your teammates came out and spoke against you.
Or the computer.
Now you got some work to do against your teammates. I mean, to do for your teammates, and you have to prove to them as well. I mean, this goes across the board for him, and I just hope that he actually does do what he says he's done. He's actually sorry, and we can see it throughout the whole season, and actually throughout this whole time right here as we watch. He's like you said, he's a main figure in NFL. Prove it to us. Prove it to the country. Prove it to the world that you're sorry and you understand what's going on.
Absolutely right, man. Absolutely right. I feel the same way. I mean, you got to cash those checks that you write, and especially in a sensitive situation like this, to totally miss the whole message and the whole point like that and still be caught up in what everybody else was thinking about, why Cap was taking those knees, and the rest of the players too. There's a lot of other players who were taking knees as well who had followed lead, and I like his apology. I like what he said, but he's got to follow through with it, man. He's got to show, because I'm telling you, Melvin Ingram's gonna be coming for your ass, bruh.
That's a good point. So Uncle Will, what do you think Drew Brees is gonna face? Not only issues coming from other teams after these statements come in this coming season, but what do you think? Maybe on his own team, he might be facing some issues
within his own locker room. I know Michael Thomas said, "Hey, we're all good now." As Nate said, Drew totally missed the mark in his comment, his original statement, what he said. And honestly, I like Drew Brees. I remember when he was a Charger, like the guy. He was like to me, he's like the Joe Montana without, the other 3 rings. He's that good. He's good. He is. But if I was him personally, I would, go through the preseason, do all that stuff, and then you know what, I'm done. Because I'm telling you right now, there's some guys in that locker room that are going to be blocking for him and catching his passes. They're not going to catch the passes, and they're not going to block, and he's going to get hurt, which is sad. But he pissed a lot of people off with what he can have his opinion. I get that. But as Nate said, that was when they asked him that question on Yahoo Finance, all right, that was not what that interview was supposed to be about. He should have just said, you know what, I'm not going to address that right now. We can talk about that later. But he didn't. He, to some degree, to me, he actually he showed us what's in his heart. It's not like it's a bad thing, But in this climate, it's perceived that way. I understand his grandfathers fought in the wars, but there were so many other people of color that fought in those same wars, came back, and didn't get the same welcome that his grandfathers got. And that's the part where he really missed the mark and should not have used that particular analogy when he was talking about the flag. Because, again, this whole thing had, in the beginning, in 2016, it wasn't about the flag. It's about mentality. And that's where he missed the mark.
Never.
Yeah.
It never was about the flag.
Yeah, and even you know, a lot of people make it about you know, the veterans and the people who fought for the country, but you know, one of the facts that people extremely overlook is that Cap actually consulted because he initially started sitting on the bench.
Yep, he was sitting. Yep.
And then when that was seen as disrespectful, he consulted with a veteran and said, what's a better way of me doing it? And actually, if you take that into consideration, that's a very smart move on his part, because
exactly
he showed that he didn't want to be disrespectful in the way that he did it, and he consulted and found out what would be the best way for him to continue his peaceful protest as a figure on the field, while still showing respect to the people that he actually respects. Like if you ever see an interview where they ask him about that, he always says, like, I respect, you know, the veterans, I respect the current active duty. He even said, like, I respect the people that go out and do the job the correct way. But, you know, this is what we need to do. This is what I'm doing to show that there is still inequality out there. And and you know, and you know, and relating all this back to Drew Brees' comment on it. I mean, obviously he did back out. Well, not back out. Obviously, he did issue an apology. It does sound like he talked to Kamara. He did talk to Thomas. Kind of got on the horn and talked to some of his people on his team and kind of chat out what it really stood for them. And in that sense, I did see some of that little empathy, like maybe in his world, he didn't understand what was actually going on. But that actually shines more light on what the problem is, right?
Yep.
You have guys that you go on the field with who make just as much money as you, who are stars just like you, and they still face this problem where when you leave the field, you live in a whole nother world and you have no idea what's going on, you know, with the guys that you line up with, that you practice, that you travel with. Like, these guys are still going through that and you have no idea. And so that kind of shines more light on. I hate to throw around the word, you know, white privilege or whatever, but it definitely shows that separation of what everybody else goes through compared to himself. And so
that's facts, man.
And so I definitely think he did see that. And you kind of saw it after his apology. He called out Donald Trump, and there was one line where he said, "We can no longer use the flag to turn people away or distract them from the real issues that face our Black communities."
Yeah.
And so I honestly feel like that was, I don't know if he has like a publicist or a PR person, but that was a very good line for him to use when doing that, because that not only was goes along with his apology, but I also think that itself kind of shows that he took a little more time to understand where this is all coming from.
Yeah, I think he gets it now. He really gets it now. And I'm not saying he's got to do it next week or next month, but at some point he's going to have to make another public statement, and just don't step on your crank. Don't step on your sword. Don't fall on your sword when you do it. Make that statement so that people that thought like he was thinking, try to reach them, because it's just
100%.
I have seen. I mean, in the last week and a half, I've seen so many posts. Whether I don't do Instagram and all that stuff. I have an Instagram account. I don't even know what the password is anymore. I haven't logged into it in so long. But those
Instagram.
Yeah, I got Instagram. I just don't use it. And I have the other one. Was it Twitter? I don't use that one either. I don't know. I don't tweet. I don't tweet, whatever you want to call it. Just never been my thing. but I've seen so many posts where people, they just really don't get it. And people are calling them out now. So when they make some, honestly racist, crazy statement, people take a snapshot and just put it out there for the rest of the world to see. Hey, listen, this person said this. I'm not saying they're a bad person, but this is what they said. Now you make the call. But when they use, when they use the N-word, when they do stuff like that, you know what? You are who you are. If you do that, I ain't gonna patronize your business.
Yeah, man.
I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
No, there's that clip of Delroy Lindo, and I don't know if that's on a show or if that was actually him on like a news channel, but where he said the one of the broadcasters who's white says to him, there's a double standard. Like, I can't say the N-word. If I wanted to say the N-word, I couldn't say the N-word. And Delroy goes, no, you can say it. He's like, come on, say it. Look, I'll say it with you. And I honestly believe, like, I'm all for our Constitution and the amendments actually meaning something. And so, but you got to think it's not just a blanket statement, right? So when you talk about our First Amendment and freedom of speech, you have the freedom to say what you want.
Yes.
But that does not mean there are no consequences to what you say.
Yeah. There's a context.
Right?
Yeah.
Second Amendment is you can own and arm yourself, right? You can own guns and arm yourself. There are consequences what you do with that. If you go out and shoot people, you will either be killed or arrested and be charged as such. Not taking your right to own guns, but there are consequences what you do with that. And words are just as deadly to yourself as firearms.
Mm-hmm.
You have the freedom to say what you want, but don't get caught off guard when the consequences come after you.
Yeah, and I think Drew got caught off guard. That was not what he wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
But then when they asked him, he told them what he thought, and I get that. Those are his thoughts. Those are his feelings.
Yeah.
It was just a climate that that when he said that in this climate right now was just the wrong time to do that.
Yeah, man. You know what though? From his apology. And then what he said back, to 45. I'm hoping, just like everybody else, that he sets an example for somebody who changed his heart, who had to change a heart, to change it around. He has a lot of power in his hands right now, to put that out and, to show people that everybody else can do that too. Like, you can drop that ideology and you can change your heart and you can change your mindset and you can flip that around. And that's, that's the type of shit that we need right now. We need that type of inspiration for those who don't get it. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for that he sets an example,
You mean like Laura Ingraham?
Whatever, man.
I just gotta say, that's one of the key things that I took out of this is she had the nerve to come out and defend Drew Brees.
But she told
LeBron James to just dribble the damn ball.
Set up and dribble,
and that was a huge point of contention for me to a lot of people. It's like, there's a perfect example of what's going on and what the problem is. Well, I mean, that right there kind of just just a small bit of it, but it's a bigger picture thing right there of why things are happening the way they're happening. Because even though it's just words, those words are powerful in the sense of what you're telling somebody of one race versus another race on the same exact issue.
Yep.
100%.
So it's just funny, you gotta look at it and you gotta say what's really going on, and that was kind of my breaking point of, okay, if you guys don't see it after that, nobody gets it. So you guys gotta wake up and start educating yourself on what exactly is going on.
Exactly.
And actually, her that network she works for, it's not news. I understand this. That's entertainment.
Yeah.
Take it for what you want to take it for. It's entertainment. It's entertainment value. That's all you get from that. And she is she happens to be one of those people I honestly feel is willfully ignorant. She doesn't care.
Yeah, willingly. Yeah,
she's willingly doing this stuff. She's willfully ignorant, and
no, she's doing it for the clout. Yeah, she's doing it. She's doing it because she knows that it's gonna pull people in to watch what she says, and that what's even worse about it is that she doesn't care about the actual issues. She cares about keeping viewership on whatever she's doing at the time, whether it be her show, her social media. It doesn't matter. She's worried about how many eyes are on her rather than the message that she's putting out.
She's insensitive about anything and everything, really. Nonsense. I don't watch that shit.
but isn't that the biggest problem right there? Is that we don't give a shit about what goes on. We just care about ourselves and whatever we can do to make ourselves look good, or get that tweet or those likes or whatever it may be. It's almost like it's almost like I look at it from a standpoint of, if I get what I get out of it, I don't care what happens to the rest of the world, because guess what? They're going to pay attention to me more. And unfortunately, I'm going to say this, and this term comes out a lot, is it's fake news. I'm going to drive this fake news. I'm going to make this fake news, because all I'm going to do is take a piece of something and then just drive on it. And I think someone said, I forgot who said this earlier, but it's just like, you take just a small piece of it and you just go with it. And once you go with it, people start to attract themselves to that piece, and they just jump on it. And it's like the jumping on the bandwagon. They continue. And it's like, what about, that's the only piece they look at, when there's actually more context to the whole situation and to whatever else may be. You could have a 5-page essay on this whole thing, but you find one thing that was said, just one thing that was said, and then it ends up being that one thing that ruins and says, oh, that essay was about this, and it really wasn't. That was just a small piece of it.
Yes, yeah. Very true. Very true. And people feed off that, man. People feed off that shit.
Oh, especially here. Especially here in America. They love it.
Yeah.
I liked Aaron Rodgers' response back to what Drew Brees said. He told him, as we said earlier, it was never about the flag or the military. This whole issue is about systemic racism, the injustice within the justice system, and police brutality. Not in that order, but those three things. Yeah. That's what Cap tried to tell them 4 years ago, and nobody listened. Well, some of us did, but basically the powers that be didn't listen. And that's why we are where we are today.
Yep.
Exactly. Why we haven't progressed. I mean, first off, welcome to the pod. John just joined us.
Oh, what's up, John?
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
All good. That's one thing that we always preach around here on Randomville and True Island Nobility is we're all about family. So, if you can make it, you can make it. If it ends up being a pod of me and Moses alone, just me and him, we're gonna do it either way. But we definitely want to make sure that even our members of the pod have time. So we appreciate you just coming out and making some time.
For sure. Have to bless you guys real quick.
Yeah. So I totally agree with you, Uncle Will. For sure. It's sad to see that 4 years have gone by when there was what would be considered now a peaceful protest, and there hasn't been any change whatsoever. The NFL is finally admitting to it that they were wrong in the way they handled that situation. They were wrong to say you couldn't do that. They were wrong to put restrictions on what players were doing to bring light to this subject. And
cash that check though.
Yeah, no, they definitely do. It's on the league now, right? Okay, you said you did it wrong. Now what? What do you do to help America progress. We're starting to see news come out of states where they're making certain takedown maneuvers or restraints illegal. And yes, these are again baby steps to get us going in the right direction. But what is the bigger picture that we are going to handle here, right? I get it. Like not all. I'm 100% like no, not all cops are bad cops, right?
No, they're not.
But on that note, right, the good ones aren't the ones that are causing the problems.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And 100 good cops doing the job correctly, 100 good cops doing the right thing all the time doesn't make one death cancel out.
Yeah. It only takes one one cop, just one, doing the wrong thing, and then it just goes south from there.
And then
it goes south.
How do we know?
We don't know. We don't know we don't know who's the good, who's the bad. I mean, they took an oath. I took an oath. Oh my gosh, so many years ago, Chris, you took it too. To protect and defend it doesn't have a warranty on it. It ends now. No, it's still the same way I took that oath back in 1984. It still applies today. 100%. And when I think law enforcement the bad ones have gotten away with the really awful, despicable, disgusting stuff for so long, it just became part of the culture. Well, now we have to change that culture.
Exactly.
And when they introduce, it has to be legislated, obviously, because I saw our article today, and me and Mo were talking about it earlier, where it was in Buffalo, New York. That old gentleman he's 75 years old. He got pushed down. Okay, so say he tripped. Say they tapped him and he tripped and he fell and he cracked his cranium, right? Okay, so now you pushed him, but you barely touched him. But why would you have to put your hands? You're 25 or 30 years old. Put your hand, a 75-year-old man. Hey, sir, listen. I'm not going to push you. I'm going to hold you. I just need to walk you away from here. I don't have to push you down. I don't have to touch you.
Yeah.
But
no,
they did.
Yeah.
I just don't get that part. I just don't get how they're so crass, and it's about officer safety. Look, you knew what you were signing up for, just like we did when we joined the military. We knew what we were signing up for. So to say, my safety, your safety is tertiary, not secondary. It's tertiary when it comes to this. I'm sorry, it is. It's the third thing on the list, not the first for sure, and most likely not the second.
Yeah.
But that's what they always. Officer safety. Well, hey, you little kitty cats, go get a different job.
Yeah.
I had another word, but I didn't say it.
No, exactly.
I almost said it.
100% agree. Actually, I think I was talking to somebody about this, and I was telling them, like, if you can't handle what that job brings, you're in the wrong field. You get told on your way of becoming a police officer. Now, to anyone who is oblivious to this, you don't just fill out an application like you do at Hot Dog on a Stick.
Right.
You have to go through a test. You have to go through physical obstacle courses. You have to become a police officer. And in the process of becoming a police officer, they let you know that you will be in harm's way to protect the people that you serve. If that's too much for you, 100%, you in the wrong field, retire now, go find a job. Maybe you should fill out that application for Hot Dog on a Stick.
Like how you were saying, Chris, about how the culture got to change. It's like when it comes down to it, it's a psychological thing, man, and that's where it gets tricky. Is that we have to change people's minds. You know what I mean? And that's why when we were talking about Brees, that's why I mentioned that. Like, hopefully he's a good example of a person who changes his heart and changes his mind. And like, I'm begging people, because there's people that I know who be on my feed, and they're just the type of people, they don't even know about racism, you know, coming out of Hawaii, and all they do is just go against the grain, is just touch those sensitive spots. And it's just like, dude, you just gotta change that mindset, man, and get with the movement. You know what I mean? And so that everybody can live at peace. You know, not only you or him or blue or green or white or black, whatever the fuck it is. We need to get on the same page here. And you know, this the Black Lives Matter movement, to me, and I'm pretty sure, you know, to you guys as well, is basically a human race movement in order to fight for equality. You know what I mean? The other side is the other side. That's the ops, man. Humanity doesn't need that. We don't need colors, man. You know what I mean? That's just what it comes down to, you know, like ultimately, you know.
It's right versus wrong, and that's as simple as that. Like, as cliche as that sounds, it's right versus wrong. It ain't nothing, you know, more than that. It's simple, but people still don't get it.
No, and I think it was John who shared the Michael Shea stand-up from Netflix, where he said, "What do you guys have against Black Lives Matter? Like, the bar we're setting here is matters. Like, that's just right here, you know. Like we're."
But before that, it was civil rights. Like, civil. Like, we have to fight to be civil. Like,
exactly. So, and it's just that, right? We just, you know, and not, you know, I understand what the movement is, Black Lives Matter. It's just to make sure that we understand, no matter what race you are, no matter what color you are, we are all the same and should be treated like that. And that's the worst part, is like people are fighting against this. Like, why are we protesting this? And why are we giving them the ability to do this? Like, we just want the platform that you have. We just want to stand as equals, which we should already have.
Yeah.
Already have.
Yep. Exactly, man. It's wild, dude. It's wild to think that people are still set on that ideology, man. And it sucks, man, because I know a lot of cool, you know, like, not to not to be color, but I know a lot of cool ass white people who I talk to right now, and they're like, dude, like, all of a sudden, you know, this happens, and now I'm super self-conscious of myself. You know, like, knowing friends who are minorities, and how all of a sudden they look at me a different way, you know what I mean, because of this. And you know, the trust is also an issue, you know what I mean, and that divides us as well. That definitely divides us.
All right, not to keep harping on the subject, so we're gonna move on. But speaking of division, the NBA is dividing up its full roster of teams to come back for the 2019-2020 season. The NBA is coming back. I say once again, red alert, the NBA is coming back to finish the season. Now, 22 teams will show up in Orlando in July and play an 8-game regular season to finish it off. Okay, 8 games to finish it off. That means out of all the teams, they're going to be mixing it up, who plays who. Out of the people who haven't clinched, the top 2 that do have with the better records will fill those spots. Now, let's get to the teams that are clinched. Everyone know who the teams have clinched a playoff spot, right? I didn't hear that. All right. So in the West, we have the LA Lakers. The LA Lakers. The LA Lakers. Oh, no, I'm just joking. All right. So we have the Lakers. We have the Clippers. We have the Nuggets, the Jazz, the Thunder, and the Rockets. All right. In the East, clinching, we have the Bucks, the Raptors, Celtics, Heat, Pacers, and Sixers. All right. Pacers. Now, before we move on to the people who are in what I call the hopeful spots, or what you would see as the bubble, Did anyone see it any differently on these top 12 teams?
Nah, man. I mean, I'm actually surprised of a couple of teams, to be honest. But
Which one surprised you? I mean, looking at let's just go with the West, right? Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Jazz, Thunder, and Rockets. Which ones did you not see making it in?
Thunder.
Thunder, 100%.
Yeah. The Thunder was one of them. On the West, though, I mean, I'm kind of looking more towards like the East, like the Pacers are in there, and then the Nets. Like I remember them getting their ass whooped. Man. I don't remember them winning games.
But you know how it is in the East. It's like the bottom of the East is like top 9 in the West.
Yeah, it's
like
pretty. It's interesting to think about though, because the West is a lot more stacked when it comes to wins and stuff. A lot more competition involved in the West too.
Go Bulls! I'm sorry. What happened? Step back.
Jordan's gone, man.
Give it up. Give it up.
That was the last dance.
Shoot. Derrick Rose didn't even want to stick around there. So.
Oh.
Hey, Kobe White though.
Oh, Kobe White.
Hey, he balling, man.
Baller. He's a baller.
Probably need to be on a different team, but okay.
All right. Okay. So who we got on the bubble? We have on the West the Grizzlies, Trailblazers, Pelicans, Kings, Spurs, and Suns. And in the East, we have just the Nets, the Magic, and the Wizards. So those are the teams that we have in the bubble looking to get into the playoffs. Who do you think is actually going to make it the remaining 2 spots in the West and the East?
The West, let me go first, please. The West, Pelicans are going to get in there because everybody wants to see Zion in the playoffs. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the refs are going to cheat or anything like that. He's good enough. No, I'm not.
It's inevitable.
I honestly think the Pelicans are going to get in, and the other team's going to probably be Trailblazers. And in the East, holy shit.
Wait, are the Blazers out?
Yeah.
Well,
the Blazers are on the bubble. Yeah,
they're on the bubble.
They're on the bubble.
Remember, Damian said
that got cheated by the refs.
Well, they all think they get cheated by the refs, man. They need to stop double dribbling and carrying and walking, man. Then, hey, everything will be all right. But I honestly believe – I think the Pelicans and probably the Trailblazers are going to make it in the West. And in the East, I got to go – it sucks. I'm going to go with the Magic. Oh, they suck, but I think the Magic.
Yeah. I say in the West is why I say it's Portland. I mein, and probably the Pelicans. The Pelicans got a pretty good team, man. They just got to get that chemistry going. But at the end of the season, before this COVID thing, they were moving pretty hard. They're moving pretty hard on teams. So I think that they have a really good chance. And when it comes to the East, I see the Magic and the Wizards. I see the Wizards doing okay, to try to push it in, but beyond the playoffs though, I mean, all 4 of those teams are done.
beyond making it, they're done.
Beyond burger.
Who you got, John? Who you got?
Meatless.
Well, I got I think I want John Morant to go a little further this season, but it's a toss up between them and the Blazers because I want to see Lillard go against, I want to see him against Russell.
Oh yeah,
I like that little rivalry right now.
Yeah, that is a good one.
It's been a good run, and I don't care.
It's gonna be some work.
I don't care about the bubble on the East.
It's gonna be some work if you want to see Lillard against Russell. he got to get
That'd
pretty
be a
far.
lot of work. Yeah.
That's true.
So
How about you, Nate? What you got?
I got to just stay with what's going on right now, Dallas and Memphis. I like what Dallas has, and in that team chemistry. They're doing so well. And then Memphis, I mean, I just like Ja Morant, man. I think that kid is something big, and I think he's something special. I really think that he's going to it's a start of something special over there in Memphis. He's going to make that team into something special over the next about 5-10 years.
I agree.
I
agree with that.
In the East, wow, that's a hard one. But I have to say Orlando, man. Orlando's the last spot. Anything above Orlando is going to stay the same. I think that's Brooklyn, right? But Orlando, yeah. I mean, you look at that East, and it's just terrible.
Yeah.
It's always been terrible.
All the way down to like the 5th and 4th seed too. I mean,
I think up to 4th. I think 4th they're done.
There's a lot to. I don't know. Yeah, the East is just garbage, man. The top teams are good though, but
the 4th right now in the East is Miami. Just put that out there.
Which, by the way, is a shocker. Miami being that where they're at number 4 seed in the East.
They got a nice young team, though. They got a nice.
They do. And that's one thing that I got to agree when we talk about the Pelicans is they got a nice young team. They're doing good. But I do agree with Mo. They got a lot of chemistry stuff to work out. If that team could come together and build a relationship between all those players on that team, I definitely think they're a team to look out for moving forward. Maybe not next year, but definitely once they start having those years of playing together, they're going to be a force, especially if they all stay healthy. Now,
Chris, I just hope that Zion has not been on the Twinkie diet, man.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
He's a specimen, man. I mean, come on, 6'8", 6'7", 6'8", with the leaping ability. He's to me, he reminds me of a young Sean from the Kemp, Sean Kemp, or Charles Barkley sometimes because he can just bowl people over.
Yeah.
But if he can keep the weight down, and play around that 240, 250, because the boy can jump out of the gym.
They got a lot of fried fruit at NOLA, though.
Yeah, I was about to say, have you had Asian food, bro?
Yes. I've never been. He's got to be able to keep the weight down, man.
Yeah.
I've never
been. He's going to end up being the next Sean Kemp.
I honestly put Popeyes at one of my top fast food joints.
Popeyes chicken?
Yeah, so if it's better than Popeyes, it's over with. I'm gonna if I ever go, I'm gonna gain like 40 pounds just because.
That's the Panda Express.
Oh my goodness.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like we've all had better Chinese food than Panda Express, right? And so if you like Panda Express, you should go to Chinese food. Being like those salt and pepper chicken wings are bomb, you know?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Hey, but Zion not just got to keep the weight down. He got to improve his game a little bit. You know, watching that guy a little bit. You know, he's a bulky dude and bulky player, and he likes to play down low a lot. He can jump out of the building, but I want to see him improve his jump shot a little bit more.
Yeah,
I want to see him
he normally plays close to the basket. Yeah, he's close to the basket. If he can get that mid-range game, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. If he can get a mid-range game and with that leaping ability and with that power and that size, he's going to be a force to reckon with. I mean, it's just like when you talk about Ben Simmons, right? Ben Simmons, he needs to get that outside shot. But I'm just saying,
I got you, Ben Simmons. Three.
Sniper.
It's just like I like Zion a lot. I think he has a lot of potential, but I think he needs to work on his craft. And I think that's what the best players do is they work on their craft and they make themselves better. They find different dimensions to their games and they make their teams better by just having those dimensions. So it's just about his vision on the court also. I think that when it comes down to it, it's like as a big man, remember when Shaq was one of the best passers of all time. Big dude. Yeah, he couldn't shoot free throws, but he pushed people around, but people forget how good he could pass. The guy could see the floor. So that, I mean, if Zion could add a couple more dimensions to his game, I'd be scared if I was the rest of the league with that Pelican team.
Yeah,
Nah,
definitely.
First off, Ben Simmons only been a sniper when he plays Call of Duty. First off, um, Ben Ben Simmons is 2 for 400 beyond the 3-point line. I'm not lying. I have the stats right up on my screen right here. He's 2 for 400 right here.
400.
He's like at negative 0.4%. Ben Simmons should never be considered a 3-point shooter ever. I'm just letting
Not
you
a
know.
threat anyway.
Like the reason why he makes 3-pointers is people leave 40 feet between him and themselves when guarding him when he's at the 3-point line. So it's if you can't make a practice shot from beyond the 3-point line, like you should probably not shoot from there. And I can stand, backwards to the basket and make a free throw, throwing it behind over my head, not looking. Right. Every once in a while, Ben Simmons can make a 3-pointer every once in a while. Dwight Howard be shooting threes. Never should be shooting threes. He made a 3. Dwight Howard has a better 3-point percentage.
He has a higher percentage.
Than Ben Simmons. I'm Ben Simmons. I agree with all you guys on your teams, except for one. I don't like them because of how they play the Lakers in the past. But I actually think Spurs are going to hit a winning streak, and they're actually going to sneak into the playoffs. I never put it against Pop to end up in the playoffs. Never. He can have 5 starters and garbage, and somehow he will make the playoffs. Maybe the 8th seed, but I never put it against Pop. He's one of those coaching talents that he could just take any team and make them good. Now, he doesn't have garbage. I honestly think that a lot of the Spurs are up-and-coming players. They are building a roster. Obviously, they don't have Kawhi Leonard anymore. They don't have, Tim Duncan, and, they don't have the foundation they had when winning championships. But I do think they're one of those teams that have been building and kind of flying under the radar to the point where they're going to sneak in this year. They probably won't make it past the first round, but I think he does like to have that on his resume that, out of all these people, with all these people, I made the playoffs. Like,
I can see that.
Correction, Chris. They do have Tim Duncan. Isn't he
Tim Duncan?
He's a coach. Yeah, he's a coach.
He's got a 1-0 winning streak.
He has a 1-0 record right now.
Tim Duncan, as a head coach, has a better percentage than Ben Simmons.
Oh, and speaking of coaches, I know it happened. It's been about 3 weeks now. We're talking about Hall of Fame type coaches like the Popovich, Jerry Sloan. Passed away. Yeah, he passed away a couple of weeks ago, man.
One of the best coaches of all time.
Oh yeah, he was. Man,
he just had to run into Jordan.
Well, hey, man, it happens.
Sometimes that makes you a better coach. Sometimes when you have the coach against the best, sometimes that makes you a better coach. Just try to win a couple games.
Hey, at least he could say that he met him in the playoffs. Yeah. You know what
I mean? Exactly. There's a lot of coaches during the Jordan era that can't say that,
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of coaches that got fired because they couldn't say that.
He couldn't get MJ.
Yeah. You mean like Rudy Tomjanovich? The 2 years that Jordan wasn't in the
league? Oh, yeah. Houston when they won, yeah.
The Rockets.
Yeah. Wait, and didn't Tomjanovich come to the Lakers like a few years after that?
No, not just a few. It was a lot of years after that. Those were the dark years of the Lakers, man.
We try not to talk about that.
Wait, Rudy T? Oh, yeah, that's right. You guys are Lakers fans. Yeah. Rudy T came to the Lakers, 2004?
No. It was 2005, I think.
Okay. I was close.
Yeah. I think it was 5, 6. Hold on. Yeah, 5. Because he quit. He had to quit or step down.
Because he lasted for 1 year?
Because of health reasons.
Yeah, 1 year. Okay.
He didn't even last a whole year.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, he had to step down for health reasons. And then that was just when the whole until we got Pau Gasol, and yeah, those are some dark years. Yeah, unfortunately.
To try to wrap up this upcoming season finale of the NBA, how do you guys feel about this whole one arena, no fans kind of playoffs that they got going on?
Yeah, I mean,
like
whatever
it.
they got to do, man. Whatever they got to do to keep everybody safe. I mean, they're not even letting the families go to Disney World and all that. So, I mean, whatever they got to do, man, to keep everybody safe. Let's just see some damn basketball, man. I can't wait.
I second that motion.
I definitely can't wait to have sports back on the TV, man.
So good. It's gonna be refreshing, man. Breath of fresh air.
I can only take so much of some of these obscure sports that they be trying to show, to the point where I'm like, just show me some basketball. Like I'll watch high school basketball at this point. Like, let's go.
A live game.
Yeah, something live, something I can say I'm going for that team. You know, let's go.
That's why I have my kids fight each other.
Hey, that's a good idea. Shit. I got the gloves now. The kids got the gloves on. We will put those on tomorrow morning.
Get that headgear.
Let's see who takes a nap first.
Yeah. Who going night?
All right, so we're all excited for the NBA to show up, and we have a great pod so far. We're gonna get into our game time. So this week, I put it to the test. We're playing One's Gotta Go again. It seems like one of our more popular games. And this week we're gonna do rapper turn actor. So out of the 4, you're gonna choose one of these rapper turn actors and one of these to get rid of. And when you get rid of them, you get rid of all their bodies of work when it comes to movies and music. All right. So rapper turn actor. Number 1, we got Ice Cube, probably one of the more successful rapper turn actors. Tupac Shakur. Unfortunately, we lost him at a young age, but he did put out some great music and also some great movies. Mos Def, who is still currently active in the acting and rapping game. And to wrap it up, we're going to throw in my man Common. Been in lots of movies recently, but is still active in the hip-hop game. All right. So let's go kind of round robin. New to the pod, we got Nate. So, Nate, why don't you give me your first keeper?
My first keeper is Tupac. I got to keep him at the top. The man was he was a revolutionary before his, for his time. I mean, the man, you got to remember, people, tagged him as a rapper, but he was more than that, in my opinion. He set off the hip hop world, and he was part of that whole beginning of what hip hop is, or hip hop was today. And people forget, or people don't even realize that he, what he did in his previous life before he became a rapper or a hip hop artist. If you look back and you think about everything that he has after his death too, the stuff that they've been released, his poems, his work, his body of work. I mean, even the raps he did that weren't released, even in the songs that he didn't release. It's just, to me, it's like, it's funny because he was a good actor too, because I don't think in my heart of hearts that he was as aggressive and as angry as he was when you saw his raps. I think that what he did was he made sure people understood what he was trying to say. He used his raps as ways to get his words out there for people to understand, and a message that he wanted people to listen to. And I mean, God, I mean, he was, I mean, the one movie that comes to mind is Above the Rim, God, I mean, you think about that movie alone, about how his acting was. He wasn't, it wasn't like he was just a rapper going into acting. You actually believe what he was. I mean, his performance in that specific movie was amazing. Yeah. So yeah, that would be my first keeper.
All right. That's a good keeper. But we got some more people on the pod. John, who's your first keeper?
I'm going with Cube. Like, yeah, he's in a lot of classics. Like, one of my top favorite movies is Friday. Like, that was just like like a classic, performance from him. And what's it called? Boys in the Hood, Anaconda. No, I'm just playing.
Are we there yet?
Are we there yet?
Was it? Are we still going?
Yeah.
Are we there yet?
There yet?
He was on that Eddie Murphy tip for a second.
He was.
I'm just glad he didn't have to dress up like a grandma or something.
He went back there. He said, "Oh, I gotta change this around. I'm gonna end up in drag. I gotta change this around."
Yeah.
No, but yeah, that's my keeper. But I do agree with Nate. It was a toss-up between him and Pac. You guys remember watching Gridlocked?
Yes.
Remember that movie?
Yeah, him and the what's his name? The European actor.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I don't know his
little small dude. Oh crap! Can't think of his name.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, they were detectives together.
They were.
With Belushi, right? Belushi was in that movie too.
No, I think Belushi was a different movie. That was.
Was that Gridlock? No,
but no, Belushi was it not Gangland? Gang related.
Yeah, gang related. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And Juice, remember Juice?
Yeah,
Juice. Yeah.
Juice. That one hits home, and I'll get to that later. But yeah, definitely. So you gonna keep Cube, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep Cube.
All right. Who you got, Uncle Will?
There you go.
That's what I'm going with.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Man, that young man, I put it this way. When I saw him in Juice, actually before that, I saw him in, he was on, we talked about this last week, Fresh Prince. He played not Fresh Prince, he played the character on, not the Fresh Prince, they were all in college.
Different World?
Different World, yes. So he played a character in that movie, on that show that I didn't really like because him and Jada Pinkett they had a relationship, well before that. When I saw him in Juice, I hated him as a character. He played it that well that I just didn't like him. He was that good.
Yeah.
Gang Related was good, but Juice is one of my favorite movies. Poetic Justice was not a huge fan of that movie. I mean, it was okay, but for me, Juice was the movie that just solidified him. Man.
No, definitely. Who you got, Moses? Who's your number one keeper?
Y'all already know it's Pac, man. I mean, the dude was an expression of oppression, you know what I mean? And he was relevant then. He was relevant even before him, and he's relevant now. And I mean, his movies, all of his artwork, his poetry, his interviews at the city council meetings, and all of that, man. He was an expression of the ghetto, and that's what they call cathartic, putting that physical expression out of what happens in situations in the ghetto and all that. And even in the movies, like pretty much all of his characters express that, and it was always a heartfelt thing, you know what I mean? And he was just nobody to fuck with, man. I mean, that dude is smart, intelligent. Before his thugging years, he was really into arts and stuff like that, and what is that, performing arts? I think he went to the School of Baltimore Performing Arts with Jada Pinkett, and then he ended up moving to the ghettos and here in California, and he expressed a lot. Gone way too soon, man. He would have been powerful right now. If he was.
And I'm pretty sure, just like some of his other deep deep meaning tracks that he had. He probably has some number one bangers right now, new releases that be
100%.
relating to kind of what we're going through right now. And that's one thing, not to rehash back on what we were talking about in the pod, is a lot of the hip hop community, they're speaking up verbally, but there's not really a lot of their tracks that you could use to kind of express that we're going through. Whereas, back, let's say, 90s hip hop, there were, every hip hop artist had that one track where they were actually talking about these kind of things. And Tupac actually had more than one, but.
Hey, did everybody see LL Cool J's?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Powerful.
That was
powerful.
powerful, man.
Waiting
Seriously.
for somebody to come out.
Woo!
Yeah.
That was just, wow. I was like, wow.
Needed
His
that.
eyes, man. His eyes told you
It
everything.
told the whole story, yeah.
Yeah.
I told all that too. It just told, you could see the pain, the
Mhm.
anguish, he didn't cry per se,
it's right
no
there
tears,
though.
but he was so
Yeah.
just powerful, and just let you know what we're all going through as a culture. He put it out there, man. Man.
Yeah. And my number one keeper kind of relate to what we're kind of going through is Cube. So I got to agree with John. My number one keeper has to be Cube. He did miss the mark on some of his movies. Like you said, are we there yet? What was that Mission to Mars movie where he went into outer space?
No, that was the one. The one with Natasha, somebody, the girl.
Something
something with the vampires, the zombies in outer space, basically.
Yeah. So 100%. Some of these movies he probably shouldn't be in, but he did give us some classics like Friday After Next. That whole trilogy, just banging, right? Like
Barbershop.
Yeah, Barbershop.
Barbershop was good. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
But to relate to what we're kind of looking at as a whole, as a nation, I can't forget the movie Higher Learning.
Oh man.
Damn,
I forgot about that one.
To anybody in our audience that's listening or watching right now, if you haven't seen Higher Learning, please,
you gotta watch it. You
go
gotta watch it. Ooh,
but
Michael
Rappaport.
Rappaport, yeah.
But Higher Learning is one of those movies where I had it on VHS, I bought it on DVD, I bought it on Blu-ray, and now I currently own it on digital.
Oh, nice.
It's just such a good movie that kind of just makes such a dramatic statement about kind of race relations, right? And you're talking about something, and for those who never had the college experience, like you think about it, the college, you go there, you go support your college team, you go there to support like your college classmates, you're in these classes all together. Some of these people you live with at dorms, at apartments, you work with at student bookstore. These are people, maybe not as close and tight knit as like high school.
Yeah.
But you're on a campus together, and it catches you off guard when you see like that separation happen, when you see people fighting just because of skin color and stuff. So so Cube's definitely my number one keeper. And he has a lot of other good movies, but definitely Higher Learning is one of the Cube movies that number one on my list. So all right, so Cube and Pac kind of taking over number one spot. Who you got for number two, Mo?
Who am I keeping?
Who you keeping for number two?
I'm gonna say Common, man. Despite the NBA dunk contest this past year, I mean, let's put that to the side. But I mean, Common has a lot of artwork out there that is is overlooked, man. Being from a place like Chicago, that's a prominent city when it comes to violence and all that. And the way that he had came out of it was very poetic in a sense of maybe like Pac, not as much as on the thuggish side, but more on the more like cultural hip hop thing. You know what I mean? And also like his entertainment, man. He was in, he was in a lot of movies too, and he played good roles and and all that. But the most important point is that he does a lot for Chicago. You know what I mean? And I like that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But it was a battle between him and Cube, man. I love Cube too.
All right. Yeah, no, definitely. Who you got, John? Who's your number 2 keeper?
It'd have to be Pac. That's we already spoke on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it almost goes without saying what kind of impact Pac had, on anybody's life, if you've ever listened to him or ever watched him in a movie. But
Hey,
yeah, so
Nick Cannon didn't make your list.
He shouldn't make anybody's list. What the?
I told you he got one banger, and that's Drumline.
It's just Drumline. Yeah, that was last week. Drumline. Yeah.
Drumline.
Woo.
Nick Cannon, none of the other stuff counts, man.
We have reappearing celebrities in our podcast, bro.
We do. Nick Cannon and Ben Simmons, both garbage beyond the 3-point line. All right. Who you got, Nate? Who's your number 2 keeper?
Oh man, I gotta go with Cube. I mean, from beginning to start, the man has done a lot. And even though he's done those B movies, I would say, but that's probably just for the money. He needed some cash at the time. He's done so much across the board. I mean, you just think about NWA. Without him, there's no NWA, in my opinion. I have to say, just knowing the history about what he's done. I mean, you just got to think about him going from NWA to his single, his solo career, and then how he transitioned from being this hardcore rapper to an actor, mainstream actor, and then he's just kind of become a household name for the entertainment community in general. It's amazing what the man's done, and I think I just have to go with him as my number 2.
And the big 3. We're all forgetting the big 3.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Uncle Will, who's your number 2 keeper?
Hang on.
All right, there we go.
Oh, hang on. Wait. I fucked that up. Hang on. Oops. Gonna turn that out loud. My bad. Hang on.
What's that, Van Halen?
No, fuck that is, man. Fuck you, Bo. Hang on. I got it right here, man. I got to do this, though. Hang on. Oh, my goodness. Hang on. I got him right here. Hang on. Coming up. I got this dude. Really? Oh, hang on.
YouTube gonna kick us off here soon.
No, they're not, man.
That damn World Wide Web.
Yeah, they don't got enough space in the internet to hold all this footage.
Yeah, they do, man.
There it is.
No Vaseline.
No Vaseline.
That's it, man. That's my number 2.
He clown comment on that one.
Yeah, they did beef, huh? They did beef.
Yeah,
they
did.
beef, yeah.
A little bit, yeah, but I mean, it wasn't that bad. I mean, it was a little bit of a beef.
They got rid of it later on.
That was,
Yeah, hell yeah. It was a shit.
Yeah. And not, rapper, actor, don't forget producer, director, and also, like I said, creator of the big 3. So
yes.
Also, that man is an activist as well too.
Yeah.
Very much so. So, and my number 2 shouldn't go in any shock. Tupac Shakur. What I was going to say about Juice back when we were talking about it was, I've never, in my early stages, I was a youngin' when I watched Juice for the first time. Probably shouldn't have watched Juice at the age that I watched Juice, but when I did watch Juice, I already knew who Tupac was. Probably the first time in my life watching the movie, I rooted for the bad guy for a part of the movie. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
I was like,
a little bit.
I was like, ooh, Pac gonna get him. I was like, ooh.
Like, shoot this mother.
Yeah, I was like, kill him. You got all the power. You got the juice, Pac.
Yeah.
I said, you better not lose. But no, I mean, he did have the chops to be an actual actor. Where a lot of some of these rappers come out. I don't know if y'all seen How High 2. I have not. So and that tells you
That's a movie?
how good of a
It's a movie?
yes, and it's some of these newer rappers trying to be actors. That tells you how good their acting is. I refuse to watch it.
In the words of Will, I'm willingly ignorant to that.
Me too. Yeah, I never knew that. So
yeah. It never made it actually to disc. Like it was such a garbage
Wow,
movie.
really?
They show it on MTV.
Netflix.
they did what? They threw it on Netflix? Why?
No,
yeah,
I think they only show it on MTV with commercials. That's the only way they can.
Oh,
actually
okay.
So, but yeah,
Only
so
available on Redbox. Put your life in danger to watch it.
Blockbuster.
yeah, it's only available at Blockbuster. The one.
So go get it.
Yeah, so if you want it.
Hollywood.
Go find a Blockbuster and good luck.
All right, Uncle Will. Who you getting rid of, Uncle Will? Who you getting rid of?
This sucks. It's gonna have to be Mos Def. I know that sucks. Look, I love him as a rapper. I do. He's had some movies that I thought were kind of cool. The one he did with Mark Wahlberg, where they were driving the little not Fiats, the little Mini Coopers.
Oh yeah.
Italian Job.
Italian
Job.
Movie. But it came down for me personally to him and Common, in my opinion. And I love Mos Def, but I'm sorry, he's the one I got to toss, man. I love the guy. I just, and it sucks, Chris. Don't do this shit no more, man. I mean, it make it too hard to pick, man.
I spend the first 3 days of the week coming up with these guys, so they got to be hard. So.
That was tough. I thought about Mos Def, but I love Common. I just saw it. He's had his message is a little different. I think for the reason I couldn't drop Common was his poetry is so much about life when he started, and it's still going on right now. Not that Mos Def not doing the same thing, but between those two brothers, I had to drop Mos Def, man. Love him. Don't take it personally, bro. I love you.
Yeah. Please, Mos Def, if you're watching, don't take it personally. Like and subscribe. So, hey, John, who you getting rid of? John, who you getting rid of?
All right. I'm getting rid of. I'm gonna tell you who I'm keeping or whatever. Who's in my last place or?
No, you telling me who you getting rid of. Who you gonna?
I was just getting rid of.
Yeah.
I have to get rid of Common, but only because Mos Def has like the funniest shit that was on Chappelle's show when he was doing.
That's right.
I wasn't big on Chappelle's show. Okay, so I get it. All right.
With Dave Chappelle.
That's right.
And he played like this funny character, like a fucking dude, like in his 50s. Like he played like an old man.
He was at the player haters ball.
He was.
No, it was similar to that, but he was doing the racial draft.
Oh, the racial draft.
Yeah.
You like the black delegation select.
Tiger Woods.
Alien ones out.
Tiger Woods. He was just trading people off to the black community.
The black delegation.
Yeah. The black delegation.
Oh shit.
No, definitely. Yeah, I mean, they both have really good bodies of work. They'll both show up in things that you didn't remember them being in, and having great parts in it. So definitely. So yeah, Common. If you watching too, don't take it personally. Like and subscribe. We appreciate it. You want to throw some donations? I'll start a GoFundMe. Let me know. Yeah. All right, Nate. Who you getting rid of, Nate? Who you getting rid of?
Whew. Mos Def. I mean, just Common. I mean, his body of work. I mean, I like Mos Def. I mean, he has a great body of work too. It was a hard choice. It really was. I mean,
I know,
Uncle Will's point, man, you shouldn't be putting all these people here, but I get it. No, but with Common, I think within all facets of what he's done over his career, and just his music speaks to his purpose in life and what he wants to get accomplished. I think that's what really kind of just made my decision a little easier to go with Common, because if you listen to his words, you listen to his like Uncle Will's point, his poetry, you listen just to what he's trying to accomplish with his craft. That's where I sit there and go, okay, Common, you kind of step above Mos Def in this competition.
Yeah, no, good point. All right, Mo, who are you getting rid of?
I'm driving Mos Def. That's why I kept Common in the last one, just because I'm not dropping Cube. I mean, I feel like I fucking grew up with Cube. You know what I mean? Like that. Yeah, that's how I feel, because all of my older siblings, my second closest to kin is 7 years older than me, and so I was raised on that West Coast, that West Coast G shit, but it goes beyond that, you know what I mean? But I mean, granted, Mos Def is hip hop. I mean, he's one of the top names. I mean, just as much as any of these other guys, but I mean, I got to keep Cube. I got to drop Mos.
Yeah, no.
All right, Mos. I love you, bro.
And so for those keeping score, I got Mos Def in Common. I got to eliminate one of them. And I apologize to Common. I do agree with all the points that everyone put out, that, he's got some powerful words. He's on a Microsoft commercial, but he's
got
got
the
some
White House, man, a few years ago, man. Come on.
But I gotta agree with John. Like Mos Def, he got some bodies of work that I just love him in. Not only the Chappelle Show, but he was, and not only Italian Job, where he played like a half deaf guy. But I mean, and those are some parts that he played well. But he was also in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, one of my favorite books. And so, as far as like an actor and fitting that part in a book, it's always good to see when they could take a book and make a decent movie out of it, where a lot of times they just screw it all up. But I think he played that part very well. He was also, like John said, he was on the Chappelle Show. Some of the funniest stuff that Chappelle had out, including Mos Def. Not to put aside Common, because Common was a musical guest on Chappelle's Show, but he was. Def is also a voice on the Boondocks, and that's one of the greatest animated series of all time. And so, if you haven't seen the Boondocks, it doesn't feature Mos Def, but he's definitely a voice on it. And he played one of the roles which surprised me. I like so much. He played Chuck Berry in Cadillac Records. So
that's right. He did. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Cadillac Records, it's a good movie. A lot about music coming up. Like I said, if you know anything about Chuck Berry's story on him coming up in that world, Mos Def kind of embodies that. It's not like it's not featuring him, but he does play a part in that movie. So I'm sorry, Common. I do love you. I do love your music. I do love. I did love you in John Wick. You did play a hitman.
You got his ass whipped. Okay, all right, got it.
Did. I don't know. A lot of the movies you show up in that I really like John Wick and Smoking Aces, you either get your ass beat or you die. So maybe that has something to do with it. But
he was in that Queen Latifah movie where he was
He's a basketball player.
He was a
Yeah.
basketball player. He was a basketball player. Did he die in that one? I didn't see that
No,
movie.
he didn't die.
He was playing
No.
Jason Kidd in that movie.
That's probably
Was
why I
it Jason
haven't seen
Kidd? It was.
The Life of Jason Kidd.
The Life of Jason Kidd. And he was in Barbershop.
Pretty
He was
much.
in Barbershop.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, barbershop. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, he was.
yeah, that's right.
And he was in Selma. Selma was a great movie.
Damn, you're right, man. He was in a grip of movies.
He's he's in a grip movie. I think he was also in Wanted, which is a comic book movie where they curve the bullets. I think he died in that.
yeah.
Oh yeah, with the
Common, you got to stop
Angelina
dying in movies. You might,
I know.
you'll probably move up my list, Common, if you just stop dying. Like, I need you in the sequel, Common. That's all.
He's the light skinned brother
Hey,
too.
hey, he's in,
Wrong with
he's
that?
in the sequel for John Wick though.
He is.
The sequel, yeah.
No,
He's in
he
the
didn't die in John Wick. He just got his ass beat.
No, but I'm saying he's in the sequel,
yeah.
the third one. Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry, if you haven't seen it, okay.
I haven't seen the third one either.
Okay.
And Keanu Reeves probably beats his ass in that one too.
He whooped his ass 3 times. 1, 2, and 3.
Oh.
I wonder if he go out for parts and he'd be like, "All right, who is this with? Oh, a good actor, actress. Okay, check. Do I get my ass beat or die? Yes. Okay, check.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take the part. I'll take the part.
The qualifications.
Yeah. No.
My ass though.
So
You have 3? Okay.
back to what Uncle Will said. I do try to make these hard. One of the things that I did leave off, I wanted to include LL Cool J, but out of the powerful statement he made, I can't eliminate that. Yeah, I mean, he's one of the guys that just kind of.
That would have been rough.
Yeah.
I think I would have walked out, Chris.
Yeah. So. But thanks for playing. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for showing up for the pod. Uncle Will, you got anything to say before we sign off?
Yes. Not just with this group of that's on this podcast. People, Americans, the world, take care of each other. Love one another. You're born with that. It's innate in your soul. You're born with that. Stop hating. Love. It's so much easier. Just my 2 cents.
No, it makes 100% sense. 100%. Hey, Nate, you knew what you got? You got anything to say before we log off?
Yeah, just I agree. I just want to emphasize what Uncle Will said, and I also just not just that, but educate yourself. If you don't know, go out there and figure it out. Find it out. Learn, read, listen. If you really want to understand what's going on, talk to people. Yep. Ask the people who have been through it. Ask the people who have gone through it, and then understand. Have the empathy. Try to put yourself in their shoes. It's hard to do because you can't do that really. But if you actually listen to them and educate yourself and accept that information, I guarantee this world will be a whole lot better place.
100%, for sure.
Great words. Hey, John, you got anything to say before we sign off?
Stay safe, and yeah, man, it's tough out there right now, but we just gotta show each other some love, and we just gotta just know what's right and wrong, pretty much.
Yes, sir.
No, definitely. All right, Mo, what you got to say before we sign off?
Man, like I said on the last one, man, just let's all try to live a life with an open heart, man, and fuck all this bias shit, man. We're one race. Forget your color, man. Just know that we're all trying to care about each other at the end of the day. So jump aboard, man. Let's make this world a better place.
No, 100%. We all need it. Love each other. So some powerful words coming from the pod. I appreciate y'all coming out. Had a great evening. You can follow us, YouTube, Randomville _CA. We out there, off our main channel, our parent channel, True Island Nobility. All right. All the social media links for everybody and everything will be shown down in the description. Hit us up. Follow us, show some support. Let us know what you like. As always, through blood or bond, one love, fam. All right, have a good evening.
All right, be good.